I have been waiting for this day for such a long time. This is the BMW M Frankenstein and the 1M, and it's called the Frankenstein. Well, I call it the Frankenstein because this car has a very special story. When it was developed, they wanted to make an M of a 1 Series coupe, and they didn't have the money or the time or the capital to get the 1M coupe its own parts, so its own engine, its own axles. So they used all kinds of different BMW parts, M parts, non-M parts, to make this insane looking thing. You know, it's low, it's wide, it's short, fantastic. Okay, where to start? This is a full M, so this isn't an M performance model or anything like that. It does have a non-M engine. It's the N54 3-liter bi-turbo, and it has been tuned a bit by Bmw M, so it's not a M developed engine, but it has been adjusted and tuned by Bmw M. It now has 340 HP and 450 Newton meters, and that was the first part for this car. And then they said, okay, the axles of the normal 1 Series coupe, they have to go, and they put in the Bmw M3 axles. So both the front and rear axle is from the Bmw M3, and that's why it looks so wide and aggressive, and they really had to widen the structure and body of the car. As you can see, man, this is ridiculously wide. Okay, the suspension is from the M3 competition, as well as the brakes, the wheels, the tires. So it has some serious parts, and I love this car because it's the best driving BMW M car in, well, of the last decade, I think. Don't forget the door mirrors, they're from the M3 as well. So a lot of different parts, and I don't know how they did it, but they work so well together. Let's take it for a drive. Let's stop talking about it and let's just experience this car. I've been waiting for this day such a long time. I have driven the 1M before, but that was a AC Schnitzer tuned version. Well, it wasn't tuned, but it had the body kit and the exhaust. And, well, it didn't look very good, I think. But it did ride very, very well. As I said, that's about 5 years ago, and I wasn't as experienced as I am now. So let's see what it's like after 5 years. Can it live up to the expectations? As you can see, a nice manual gearbox, not a DCT boring gearbox. I know it's faster, but this is what you want. A nice short stick manual. You know, it's precise, it's sharp. I love it. As you can see, the interior isn't all that special. You get an M steering wheel with some M stitching, some Alcantara on the door, some Alcantara on the gear lever. But the seats look pretty normal. I do have to say this. The seating position is a bit too high. This is the lowest position possible, and you know, it's not all that special in here. But when you start driving this thing, you notice why car investors are really wanting this thing, because the value of the 1M is just going up and up. You know, everybody loves the 1M, and let's see why that is. Okay, the N54 engine, 340 HP. I have driven this like 2 weeks ago, this engine, in the BMW Z4 35IS. So you can still get this engine today as new. And as I said in the BMW Z4 review, it's a lot rawer and sportier, maybe, less sophisticated than the new 35 or 40i engines. This is, you know, the sound is a lot less sleek and artificial, maybe. This really is raw and pure. The steering, this is one of the last BMWs with hydraulic steering, and the feel that you get when you drive it is incredible, really incredible. It isn't anything like the new electric power steering. It's so much better for a sports car. You know, you feel every tiny thing on the road. You feel the grip on the front axle. It's magnificent. Okay, the traction control is now on, and this N45 engine delivers its power much more aggressively than the new 3-liter turbo engines. You know, they have a really linear power delivery, and this at like 3,500–4,000 RPM just kicks in the power. And when you have the traction control on, you can really see it working at low speeds, and you can feel the torque. It needs to be tamed, I think you can call it. Yeah, exit the corner on throttle. You can feel the power being cut immediately. You can also have an M setting for the traction control, as you can see, MDM. But I borrowed this car from a dealership, for which I'm so thankful after a very long search, so I'm not going to use that. Let's turn it off. When the new BMW M2 came out, all the journalists and other car reviewers said that it was as nice as the 1M, and I completely disagreed. I have driven the M2 and now I'm driving the 1M again. I'm sure of it. This is the better car. It's so much more pure, and the experience is a lot cooler, I have to say. The feel that you get in this car, you don't get it in the M2. You know, you sense the car being around you when you throw it around a corner. It feels so short and nimble, and it simply is one of the best driving cars I've ever driven. It really is. You know, this car really deserves the legendary status that it now has. So are there any drawbacks? Well, there are a few. For example, the sound. You know, it sounds pretty good actually inside. The interior sound is way better than in the M2. But the exhaust sound, well, you can't hear it right now, but you don't hear anything, you know. It has the classic BMW quad exhaust, but they don't make any sound. You just hear the sound being muffled by the turbos. So a lot of people who bought the 1M got an aftermarket exhaust, and I can't blame them. You know, I don't really like aftermarket exhausts on classic models like this one, but it really needs one. If you want this car to be at its sharpest, you press the M button and you then see the sport thing going on there. You don't have any adjustability in this car. This is a raw, simple car with a very straightforward setup. You know, just good parts, good suspension, a nice engine, and the M button, you know, it tightens up everything, but that's it. You know, there are no Eco Pro or super soft and super hard settings. It's just the right setting, and that's it. And that really this is so much fun. That really empowers the fact that this is a simple and straightforward BMW M model. They just wanted to make the ultimate driving BMW, you know, as small as possible, as wide as possible, as low as possible. And it's perfect. You know, when they develop an M3 or an M5, they need to think about practicality, about driving it every day, and they didn't with this. So the development was fully focused on making it as good as possible. The best parts, you know, from the M3 competition. The normal M3 wasn't good enough for this car. They wanted the competition parts, which are just a bit better. And the sad thing about this car is that they're becoming very expensive, very rare, and that's why a lot of people don't drive them anymore. Because driving this car actually is quite expensive, because if you don't drive it, you have a 1M that hasn't done too many kilometers or miles, and that means it's worth a lot. You know, it's worth a lot now, but in the future it will be ridiculous. So I've really once again fallen in love with this 1M. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best BMW M model I've ever driven. It's one of the best cars I've ever driven. It's simply amazing. I have to take it back now to BMW in Waardenburg, the Netherlands. Story it's called. Thank you so much for letting me drive this car. I've been waiting for this day to come. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you're able to enjoy this car as much as I am. Let's give it one more go. And goodbye to you.